Hi, welcome to Friday Night Chats with Garage Geek. Now, normally when I make my Friday night videos, I do them in one take. But my dogs want to be outside right now, and so I might have to edit this because sometimes when they're outside they start barking. I have to get up. So, yeah, I'm just saying that you might see some edits in this, and that's why. I think actually when I do edit them, they go faster and you don't have to listen to all my ums, ahs. I often say, what word do I always say? It doesn't matter. But when I edit them, they just seem to go a bit more smoothly. So as you know, my niece found so many comics in the garbage. And I was really worried because I sent 2 boxes of comics. And one box arrived. They were supposed to arrive on the 6th, and today is the 7th. And one box arrived like the 5th, and so that was the day before. Or I don't know. It arrived early, and I was very excited. And then the second box didn't arrive, so I went to go find the receipt. And I remember my receipt was in my jacket, and my husband washed my jacket and he threw away the receipt. And I was like, ugh. I mean, it was my fault, but you know, I was tired from my trip and I didn't put it where I should have. So I was worried, you know, this box wasn't showing up, and it's got a ton of comics and they're old. And so I finally found the receipt in my email, and they're supposedly going to be delivered today or tomorrow. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed still. But anyways, I grabbed 10 random comics, and I just thought I would go over them because they're fun, and I want to do something with them. So the first one is The Adventures of Jerry Lewis. Now, this one, look, I don't know why this woman is in her underwear, or, I mean, is that a legitimate dress? Everyone else is fully dressed, and then this woman is on the side like that. I don't get it. And I swear, I opened this up and looked at it. Every single panel, Jerry Lewis has the stupidest look on his face. They drew him like that in every single panel. Let me find, like, there he is. Let me show you. Like, look at this. He's always got, like, these absurdly dumb looks on his face. It's like every single panel. So, there you go. Next. Oh, and I just wanted to also point out, this is issue number 76. And what year is this from? It's a 12-cent comic. It's from 1963. So this is 5 years before I was born. But there were 75 issues before this. So Jerry Lewis must have been very popular to have that comic running for so long. Next, we've got a Walt Disney Donald Duck, the Lost Pegleg Mine. And this one is from November of 1970. It's issue 134. We have another one that's Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. This one has a Christmas theme. That one's a 15-center. So this one is a little bit later. This is from 1971. That would have been 2 when that came out. This one is a really strange one. I'm not sure what company this is. It's called Captain Marvel. I need to look this up. But Captain Marvel fights the Bat. And the kid is saying, Captain Marvel, I guess. I'm assuming that's the Bat. Split. Now that is so close to Batman. It's called the Bat. There's no publication information when you open up the comic. This is interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to research this one. It's just a strange comic. Now, the funny thing is, I've never owned any romance comics, and I got a couple to show off. So this is The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. And it's a pretty funny cover. Dobie, like it's time to find another beach. Really? You're the first girl I've told this to. And then all the other girls start chanting his line. It's actually a pretty funny cover. And the art is nice on that too. Let's see. This is from 1963. Wow. So Dobie Gillis is, of course, the guy. I never saw the show, but he's the guy who went on to play Gilligan, I believe, and got another stupid face. Here we have a 12-cent comic called Submarine Attack. Duel at 40 Fathoms. And it's interesting art, but what's funny about this, it says, Führer, Führer, the Amerikaner is going to ram us. So why are they going back and forth between English and German? That doesn't make any sense. Right? Wouldn't they speak only German? I don't get that. That to me just like doesn't make sense. Here we have a 20-cent. So this is much later. This one is from, oh no, it's not. It's from 1973, from Beyond the Unknown. And this gorilla is holding up a librarian to steal some library books. That makes no sense. I mean, or maybe it's a bookstore. And he's like, hand over those other 2 books. And then he's thinking, when I read these 3 novels, I'll be able to conquer the world. And they're Treasure Island, Moby Dick, and Robinson Crusoe. Okay, so I don't understand. Like, I've read all these books, haven't I? I think so. How come I don't know how to overrun the world? What's in those books that give the key to taking over the planet, conquering the world? I don't know. They're called Stories to Stagger the Imagination. Here we have another romance comic. Share the Secrets of Girls' Love Stories. 15 cents. So this one is from, what is this? 1969. So a little bit after I was born. How could he do it? He's telling them our secrets. And I love her skirt. Her boots match her top. And look at, he's over there telling everybody and they're looking at her. Okay, this cover's sad, but that art, I probably know who that artist is. That's a real, I don't know if that's Neil Adams or not, but that's a really great cover. Oh, I have to look that one up. The next one is a later one, and it's called The Freedom Fighters. And this just looks ridiculous. It's got Batwoman and Batgirl and like all these weird superheroes are flying down a roller coaster and getting smacked. It's just like, this is probably going to be the worst comic ever. This one is from 1978, so I would have been 10. Here is another, this one, the last one. Here's the final one I'm going to show, which is another romance comic, Falling in Love. I love this cover. So she says, I don't care about the others you stole, Sue, but Bill is different. I love him. Please leave him alone. Do you like how I'm acting this out? And this woman, look at her, the look on her face. She's like, are you kidding? When 2 girls want the same man, anything goes. Dang, she's cold. How could I forget that magic moment? Once upon a time and lots more. And then how to develop a beautiful body. I have to read this. This is from DC. And it's a 25-cent comic from 1971. So it's probably a double issue. Okay, I don't know if you liked those comics or if I should save that for the end. Let me know. They were just 10 random comics I grabbed. But if you didn't like that, please tell me. I could shove that to the end. I'm probably going to make that a regular segment since I have so many comics to share. All right, so here we go. Friday Night Chats. Alan Arkin died while I was on vacation. So Alan Arkin, of course, great actor. I didn't actually hear too much about this. So I think a news flash popped up. And, I mean, that's all I heard about it. Yeah, Alan Arkin. Oh, wait, I have pictures. So let me go ahead and open up my iPad to show off Alan Arkin. Where is it? So here we go. Alan Arkin when he was younger and when he was older. And here's another picture of him. So there we go, Alan Arkin. So the Pressing Matters, which is a channel I've been following, he reviewed a new pressing of Songs for Distinguished Lovers by Billie Holiday. So I bought this set, which I've shown off. It has five albums. Yeah, 5 original albums. And I have 2 of these on vinyl, and I don't have the other 3 now. This is newly pressed on the vinyl for, he said, about $30. I usually, the other ones that I bought from here, they were 20 or under. I think I got one for like 16, and that's why I bought it. I would like to own this. I listened to this about 8 times before I actually watched his review. In fact, I wanted the background information on this album before I listened so that I could get into his review more. This is a very nice album. As someone pointed out, it is from later in her career. In fact, all of these are. So they're from 1956 through 1958, and this one is smack in the middle at 1957. I enjoyed it. It takes some getting used to, right? They're all standards, as the Pressing Matters stated. But she does her twist on them. Since they're standards, and I've heard so many other versions of these, they often get in the way, and so you have to let yourself get used to them. But I did thoroughly enjoy this album. Oh, and by the way, there's only 6 songs, 33 minutes total. So I recommend that you stream that, and I am going to be continuing to listen to the other albums in this set. There's a new Netflix movie. Oh, you know what? Let me show these. You thought I was done with my travel videos. Now, what I realized is that you can get really good photos from the airplane window. I didn't think of this because all the pictures that I've taken in the past have been so awful, I just kind of gave up on it. And halfway through my flight, I decided to take one, and wow, it was so good that I was like kicking myself, because when I was flying out of New York, there were some beautiful views. So halfway through the flight, I started taking some pictures, and you can really see the cloud mass so clearly. These pictures are stunning, and the mountains, that's from the plane window. So here's a close-up of those mountains, snow-capped mountains. That's another one. You can see the plane wing there. And then this was a different set of mountains, but so pretty, right? So I recommend that if you're on the airplane and you're sitting next to the window, it's sometimes it's hard to get a seat next to the window, but if you can, snap some pictures. So there's a new movie on Netflix called Extraction 2, starring Chris Hemsworth, who is, of course, Thor in the Marvel movies. So we wanted to watch this, and we'd already watched number 1, but my husband was like, you know what, I totally don't remember anything that happened in the first one. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So we went back and we watched the first one. Now, what I'm going to say is the reason you don't remember anything is there's no plot. It's just one giant action scene. And you know what? These things are filmed and so well. The action scenes are gorgeous, and they up themselves. This one is even better. So I'm gonna say, if you like action movies, you have to watch both of these movies. They're very well filmed. They're both 2 hours long, but it goes fast. Of course, they're not the perfect movies, right? They're action movies, and that's pretty much all they are. But wow, they're done so well, and he does a good job in the role. I highly recommend them if you're into action movies. I read a couple of books. One was this one, Days Without End by Sebastian Barry. And wow, I have to rave about this book. This book was so good. Now, the subject matter was interesting to me, but when I started reading it, I didn't know about the subject matter. And it abruptly changes in the there's some elements about it. I don't want to give it away. that I didn't know about, and the subject matter started appealing to me even more. But the writing style was so good. First of all, it was a first-person narrative, which I really enjoy. It takes place during two war times. One of them is the Civil War, and then the other one is, I'm sorry, I get the wars wrong before that, the French Indian War. I'm not sure. So the war before that, before the Civil War, and the narrator of this book is young and going through all these experiences, and he's in these vicious experiences as a young person. This really did remind me a lot of the man who just died. He's so good. The evening sunset in the west. Okay, I'm just gonna have to skip it. Well, he just recently died, and he wrote All the Pretty Horses, and no, the book name is escaping me. But if you know who I'm talking about, of course, that other writer, Cormac McCarthy, is light years better than this writer. But this, I'm stylistically, but this is still a very, very engaging book. You're kind of there with the character because he's experiencing all these atrocious events and trying to process them. And it seems like the character sticks to a person of that time period. Like when there are racist elements that are going on, he deals with it. He doesn't jump to a modern sensibility, in my opinion. He stays in character for a person of the times. I highly recommend this book. Days Without End, Sebastian Barry. Okay, another book that I just finished is Skin by Mo Hader. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I have been reading the Mo Hader books in order, starting with Birdman, The Treatment, Ritual, now Skin. So that means I have 3 left. Now, what I'm going to say is this is by no means a bad book. Thoroughly enjoyable. I was never bored. But it seemed overly convoluted. And the reason it was that way is because there are characters building on from the last book, a couple of them, that are still in this book. And then there's a plot line that is going to continue into the next book. So the reason it's getting more and more complicated is because the writer is adding all these characters and things that are ongoing. So it's not tied up at the end of the book. I mean, the main murder is, but this one, like I said, it's going to carry on. So I am, of course, going to continue with the series. Now, I'm going to say that this cover is really interesting, right? Because if you examine it, this woman has this red, and it looks like modeled shirt. And that's all it is. It's a shirt. But this is about skinning people. And when you look at it, it looks like the person has had their skin taken off, right? From here down. But it's not. That's a shirt. It's just, I think that's a great way to show something really gory from the book and not be gory about it. I just thought that was a brilliant cover. Really like that cover. Okay, so I talked about Days Without End. I talked about Skin. I finished Silo Season 1, which is on Apple TV, I believe. No spoilers. I really, really enjoyed that show. If you're into sci-fi, like I said before, you're going to enjoy this show. There are 10 episodes, I believe. It doesn't wrap everything up at the end. I mean, it ends on a dramatic note. So obviously, I hope that this series will keep going. Yeah, if you're into sci-fi, you're going to like this. There's also a lot of really good actors in this. Some of them are hamming it up a little bit. I could do without that. But otherwise, it's a great, great show. And there goes my dog. Hey, Angel. Okay. Oh. I want to talk about this. So this is a restaurant I went to in New York when I was staying there. And then when I came back, I'm in the middle of a series called Invasion. I believe it's also on Apple TV. Now it's very slow going, but it's very character driven, and it focuses on 5 different characters as they're going through an alien invasion from all different backgrounds. It takes a while to get going, but I don't mind that because they're building up all the characters. So I was fine with that. This is actually taken from my TV screen. You can tell because there's one of my little speakers right there, right? It blocks the screen, but that's okay. I'm used to it. So this diner featured in that show, and I'm going to see if I can find that. I actually oh, so here it is. I took a little clip of the show. Let me. Oh, there it is. It just went through right there at that diner. And I was like, isn't that coincidental? I had just been at that diner. I'm sure it's that diner because it says Orangeburg on the front, and that's exactly where we stayed, or Orange Town, I think. It could be a different one. Maybe there's a chain, but that diner to me is very distinctive. I even commented when we went there, like how 50s it looked, right? How Art Deco. Yeah. So anyways, coincidence. It was pretty funny. I did not get a picture of another movie that we watched. Oh, that's a shame. And that was Evil Dead Rise. I think it's on HBO, right? So I had so much fun with this movie. It was really better than I thought it would be. I heard mixed reviews about it, so I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I'm really surprised that this movie got mixed reviews. No spoilers, but the opening scene is really, really good. And then the way that they show the titles, I was like, wow, I loved it. Superhero fans, you might like that opening. I just thought that was so cool. There's definitely some disgusting things in this movie. No spoilers, but I'm just going to do this. And if you've seen the movie, you'll probably remember the scene that was so disgusting. Both me and my husband were just like, yeah, it was bad. But that's what those movies are for, right? They're just gore fests. And I think I covered everything. So there you go. I got all that. And my dogs are barking, so that's a symbol. I'm getting back on track. I feel like I've been home just a couple of days and I've been pumping out videos left and right just so that I would have a feeling of catching up. I think some of my viewers might not like me putting out so many, but on the other hand, I'm getting a lot of new. Like my sub count has gone up a lot in the last couple of days, like about 10, which is surprising to me because my sub count crawls and then it'll drop. And then it'll crawl back up again. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for the support. Please, if there's anything I talked about that you like, please put it in the comments. I always love the comments. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your support.